Hi there, and welcome to Around the OrkneyBowl, week 6 and 7 review. Sorry, I couldn't make it last week, then Craig couldn't make it last week, so we thought we'd do a double again this week. How's it going, Craig?
Yeah, very well, Johnny. I'm good, thank you very much. Week 7, we're halfway through the regular season already. What's that all about? I mean, I feel like we just started yesterday.
I know it seems like no longer since we drafted, to be honest, but yeah, it's a bit mental. Yeah, so
But yeah,
so the big news obviously is we've not got this. There's no longer an unbeaten team in the league. They lost in week 7, and there's only one winless team, and we're obviously happy to say it's not you, Craig.
well, I got off that mantle in week 7, thankfully. But yeah, I mean, that to me is crazy. I mean, there's eight leagues, 96 teams, and everyone's lost after 7 weeks. That's it goes to show that the standard that's getting played, that everyone's getting into it, and it goes to show as well that how topsy turvy the NFL's been this season. I mean, it's
Mm.
the fact that no one's got a team that's capable of winning 7 weeks in a row. That's crazy to me.
Well, yeah, the injuries have been brutal this year. And big players as well, you know what I mean? Big
There
point
has been.
scorers.
I mean, feel like we say it every year, though. I feel like we say every year all the injuries are getting, you know, it seems to be the thing now, but it seems to be it's more and more and more important players
It's
every
yeah,
year,
well, obviously Jackson being out, losing Borough happens almost every year. Obviously, Bucky Irvine, Garrett Wilson's missed 2 weeks. Uh,
Yeah, I mean,
Hampton, who started off going to do well, he's out for a few weeks, and it's just never ending. I think a lot of
that's been
people's leagues have
destruction.
got full of their IR squads are full.
I mean, I've got many leagues that my R squads are
Yeah,
full, and do you know what the thing as well is? It's starting to hurt even more now, and this is how the start that your kind of start. If you're in a good position now, you can afford to lose a couple of games. It's really where you need to be right now, because of course the bye weeks are really kicking in now. 6 teams on bye this week. It's there's going to be a lot of benches that don't have anyone left to play because they're all on bye week. And that's just that's what happens at this stage of the season. So it's why it's so crucial to get a good start, because if you're chasing now, you really are chasing, and it's you're going to be missing players when you're doing so. So it makes it all that harder.
it certainly does. So we'll get cracking that. We'll start with the West Conference. To what do we can't speak? Dwarf staying again. Can you see that okay? Or do you want it a bit bigger?
No, I'm fine with that. That's I've got you on big
Got that.
screen now. Oh yeah, that's even better though. Leave it like
Cool.
that.
So the week 6 scores, I've got the Cork Red Army 169.51 against the Q Kings 188.17. The Bangham Sharks 175.63 against the Trinity Flyers 217.30. The Clemson Marines 187.11 against the Peterhead Bloody Jets 145.35. Rhino Cardinals 140.93 against 196.20 Birmingham Patriots. The Gloucester Wolfpack 200.49 against the Philwood Patriots 215.25. The Plymouth Assassins 171.84 against the Newcastle Magpies 229.23. And the week 7 scores, the Cork Red Army 154.39 against the Trinity Flyers 216.12. Clemson Marines 183.15 against the Q Kings 211.89. The Bangham Sharks 231.57 against the Birmingham Patriots 221.43. So less than 10 points in that. Just over 10 points in that one. Forward Patriots 202.37 against 192.79 the Peter Bloody Jets. Rhino Cardinals 104.38 against 225.94 Newcastle Magpies, and the Gloucester Wolfpack 207.76 against the Plymouth Assassins 180.61. So that's a
Yes,
hell
I
of a
mean,
game between those two.
it's a harsh one for the Birmingham Patriots there to lose that 231 to 221. Let's have a wee look in there and see what's happened. And when you're sitting there at, that's 4-3, so you're sitting 4-2. You win that, 221 points would have beaten most of the other teams in the league, and that would have, five and two, big difference to 4-3. 4-3, you're in a fight. 5-2, you've got room to spare.
There's a
Vidal,
lot of
I mean, he was.
for high scores. There's a
It's
lot
one
of
of those.
players with no points. Well, there you go.
Vidal was one of those where you were just expecting so much of him this week. I mean, I was expecting so much of him this week, and he didn't do a whole lot, which was very disappointing.
And so going into Monday Night Football, we think it was just Gibbs to go. So he would have been leading by 30 points. 30 points maybe? Because I don't think anybody else is playing Monday night.
It doesn't look like it, yeah. So I mean, it's Rashid Rice coming back and just slotting right in as well. That's absolutely massive. And I mean, there was a lot of high scorers this week. We're going to see some high scoring games. I think. I know we've not seen too many. None. I think 232 is the highest we've seen in this division. But week 7 specifically, there was a lot of big scoring players as well. And it's that was kind of starting to turn around. But yeah, great win for the Bangham Sharks. And that's our shot. Is that our Sean?
Sean, yeah. Sean Fleming,
he's flying high. And the Trinity Flyers, they can start planning for the playoffs now. You would say, and Newcastle Magpies not that far behind, but the rest is. I mean, look at it. It's a dogfight all the way down to 11, and Plymouth Assassins still well in the hunt. Only two wins behind playoff spots. The thing is, it's 7 games to go. If you get to 7-7, you've got a chance. If you get to 8-6, you're more than likely in, And the big thing about here as well, see the Plymouth Assassins, and who is it that's below it there?
The Peterhead Bloody Jets.
Peterhead Bloody Jets. They've got absolutely nothing to lose at this point because they can't get relegated either. So if I'm Mark, if I'm Mark or I'm Ads, I'm looking at that right now and I'm thinking, do you know what? I'm going to go and take a few chances. I'm going to go and pick up some, kind of go and pick it. I'll bet you any other team China, like a Henderson sitting down in the an agency. You'll have the lad that in Pittsburgh, Johnson, he's going to be down in agency now. Go and take a chance with these guys. Some of these guys, pick them up because you never know. They might start firing second half. They might come on to a game. They might do something.
Rodney Gadsden got $50 for Macca's 64. Who's that?
Yeah, that's a big pickup
because
the Fullwood Patriots. Yeah, I'd sitting at 4-3 as well. I could see him helping them kick on because he looks like it's very much his job now in LA already, and we've seen that.
Adam picked up
very well.
Alec Pearson, Noah Fant from free agency.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing, You got to be rolling the dice down there now because you've got nothing. As I say, there's no relegation in Division 4, so start rolling the dice. And Fullwood Patriots, Kew Kings, Birmingham Patriots, Gloucester Woolpack, all sitting there at 4-3. No, I mean they've got a winning record and they're doing well, but you'll just need to wait, Derek. They've got a winning record, and they're going really well, but the 3 and 4s are right behind them, and it's squeaky bum time. They could really do with getting a wee winning run going, and you got to look at the points for as well. At least, in this stage, the 4 and 3s all are outscoring the 3 and 4s at the moment.
Not the 6 and 7. Well, opposite way around 1-3-7-7 against 1-3-2-8. But apart from that, yeah.
Yeah, sorry, I was looking at points against there. If you're sitting at 3 and 4, 4 and 3, but you're scoring well, it's nothing to worry about, because you're scoring well. It's if you're sitting at 4 and 3, but you've got lucky and you've won a few, that's when you maybe start to panic a little bit.
Yeah, and the Newcastle Magpies, they've been scoring high the last couple of weeks. Hence why they've taken over the highest point scoring in the league as well. But like Fullwood Patriots, the worst 1,500 points against. So they're doing well getting 4 and 3 with that points against.
That's running into games and winning. I mean, we just seen them. They were the ones that won 231 to 222, weren't they? Yeah, there you go. So it's Oh no, it wasn't. No,
202 to 197, 92, but still a close because they got 200 points. But yeah, nearly 200. But they got Peter Bloody Jets got 192 points, but lost. So.
Yeah, and it's one of those ones. They're 1-6 as well, so that they've ran into the Peterhead Bloody Jets having a good week, So
that'd been a bit of a nervous one, that one. But now it's like, we see who's playing who this week because that can make a big difference. you've
I
got
mean,
2, 3 and
there's
4s.
going to be some huge games here now because you're at the stage now where, we're in the run-in. There's 7 games to go. So like that, Clemson Marines there at 3 and 4. They're up against Cork Red Army 3 and 4. The winner of that game's going to get back to 55, 500, 4 and 4, and the loser's going to be 3 and 5. And at 3 and 5 with 6 games to go, you kind of need 5 wins to make sure you're in. So you've not got much leeway left there, So that's a huge game for them in terms of getting on a wee win and run as well.
And then you've got the Birmingham Patriots up against the high-flying Trinity Flyers. So 4 and 3, 6 and 1. And you've got another 4 and 3, 4 and 3. Newcastle Magpies up against the Bangham Sharks. That's 2 of the higher scoring teams last week coming up against each other. 2 and 5, 1 and 6. And 3 and 4.
That's got to be the biggest game of the week, and this one's the Peterhead Bloody Jets and Plymouth Assassins, because the loser's dead, the loser's out of it. The winner's picking up a little bit of momentum and maybe has a chance, So that's that's an absolutely massive game as well, for a week 8 game type thing,
I'm guessing he's not set his team. Yeah. Empty.
And do you know what? That's just a sign of what's happening this week with the 6 bye weeks, But I mean, he's obviously going to have plenty on the bench.
Everybody's on his bench.
It's a bit worrying.
Sure yeah.
It's a bit worrying having Kamara and Chris Olave now. I know that both are scoring okay, but yeah, that would worry me greatly, being that heavily invested in the New Orleans Saints at the moment.
Yeah, well, I think it's that Chris Olave's obviously getting all the targets and he's doing well, but he's questionable with a sore ankle, I think it is. And Kamara's been losing touches to bloody Condry Miller. He's on IR.
Not anymore.
So will Devin Neal take spot prices off him? You don't know, but I think Devin Neal's the next one up. So I don't know how good he is or not. I think he had 2 touches or something last week, but we'll see what happens.
That's the kind of person that's the kind of player that, when you're down at the bottom and you're chasing, that's the kind of player you want to go and pick up. You've got to take some risks, And if I'm kind of Plymouth Assassins, Peterhead Bloody Jets, I look at that and say Kamara's not looked wonderful this year by any manner of means. And as you say, with Kendry Miller down, there's every chance that he gets a chance, and if he gets his chance and he takes it, they could easily trade Kamara as well. I mean, Kamara must be in thoughts of being traded.
Well, he said, I think he said if he gets traded, he's going to retire. He wants to stay in New Orleans.
Does he? Oh, well, that's more fool.
He said that a couple of weeks ago, I think, something about that. He doesn't want to get traded, and I had somebody who might retire if he gets to try and trade him. But yeah, I think I got Devin Neal in a lot of second, last round the best balls, just because it's the Saints and they run the ball. But so if he does come through, it'll be quite out my best ball teams. But
yeah, well, I certainly need help with my best ball teams, that's for sure.
Well, that's Division 4. So in Marvick Head, Division 3 West Division. So we've got the Darlington Dragons 229.03 against the Bonnerig Cheeseheads 181.10. The Dobos Darla Diamonds 167.84 against the Lagers Lemons 162.90. The Norwich Mustard Men 187.52 against the London Eagles 184.01. So that's pretty close. Manchester Spinners 145.22 against the Not Cold Knockouts 184.75. Birmingham Bears 211.44 against the Guildford Raptors 141.86. Our very own Michael 166.32 Blue Takers against our very own Cavac Porkers 220.24. I think that's them all. So,
not that many 200 plus points there, let alone
I know, and that was week 6. So week 7 they got Dobos Darla Diamonds 183.69 against the Bonnerig Cheeseheads 165.67. The Darlington Dragons 215.54 against the London Eagles 209. That's 2 games they've lost probably in total between 10 points the last 2 weeks between the two. Lagers or Lemons 131.93 against the Not Cold Knockouts 222.24. The Guildford Raptors 214.03 against the Norwich Mustard Men 200.64. Cavac Porkers 190.46 against the Manchester Spinners 181.89. The Birmingham Bears 206.67 against the Bluetooth Patriots 174.89. So that would be 6 points and 3 points. Yeah, so less than 10 points they've lost over the last 2 weeks, and they're stuck at 1 and 6. That's pretty bloody unlucky. Like, Joseph, I do feel sorry for you. That's
the pain of fantasy football, isn't it? It's just sometimes shit goes like that, and your season's dead, and you got to say roll on next year, and hope that you've got a few other leagues that you're doing a little bit better in, that you can cheer on for this week. I mean, what can you do? You know it's not your year when that's happening, and it's not even like it's 150 to 148. He's scoring points as well. So yeah, that's a sore one. But what's going on with Pork, man?
I know. We were all no, but we said he had a good team this year, and that's with Kendra Miller on the team playing.
Yeah, but he said he had a good team last year, and he had about 8 defenders on the bench. He's lost Kendra Miller there. He's got JSN's just been absolutely massive. It really has. Jude Blanks as well.
I know, the kicker.
He must have had some good scoring in his defenders as well to be up that high. Not really, no.
16 and 4.
Yeah, not really. But yeah, no, it's a hell of a score, and he's going along great guns at 6 and 1. Pork will be looking at promotion. He'll be looking for promotion, that's for sure. But he's going to Kendra Miller sitting there as well. It's like the irony that he does have him. At least he's a man of his convictions. I'll give him that much. Do you know what I mean? He called it. He called it last year, and the fact that he's sitting with him right now as a man of his convictions, I like that.
He was calling it the year before as well. Yes. So Pork's at the top.
Yeah, right up there, 6 and 1, and it's not. He's up there in merit as well. It's. I mean, okay, maybe not. The 5 teams below him have all scored more points than him. So
look at that.
no. It's 6 and 1. He can start thinking about the playoffs. That's for sure. He's got a foot and a half in, and Darlington Dragons and Doubles Darlow Diamonds there. They've got kind of 1 foot in. So. And do you know what the thing is here? It's the Manchester Spinners, the Bluetooth Texans, the London Eagles, and the Lagersville Lemons are starting to lose touch, with Guildford Raptors and above. So very quickly they could be out of the running, and but they have to think about relegation. So the season's not over for any of them yet. So you can't go. I wouldn't be going as gung ho chasing like I would be in Division 4, because I've got to think about the playoffs and winning a couple of games in the playoffs and making sure that I stay in division. So yeah, but it's a long old season from down there, when you're losing touch with the teams above you. But from 8 up, Guildford Raptors right up, it's absolutely on. All of those 4 and 3s are going to need to be winning.
Yeah, there is about 80 points difference between 6 and 7. So it's a nice difference to have if you keep above them with the wins. It's 1, 4, 2, 6.
Yeah, I mean that's
1, 3, 4, 1. So it's all about the points scored as well. So that's a sort of one. But yeah, because Maury G says I've lost the last 2, I think, but they still scored okay. They just lost the last 2. So I'm pretty sure they have. They lost there, but not a lot. 165. Another 181, but
they lost 181. Yeah, so they're starting to slip a little bit. So there's and there are London Eagles this week who have been losing but have been winning, have been scoring well. So losing tight and scoring well. So yeah, that's a tough game for Chris there. He's going to have to. London Eagles favourites too. It's you don't want to be getting back into the pack, when you've got that 2-game advantage, and you want to keep it at least, because if nothing else, you want to stay ahead of those 4 down there. For if nothing else, you only need to win 1 game in the playoffs to stay in the division, So yeah, it's very important that he turns that round. But of course, Spin Joey's got to be thinking his turn has to come very, very soon.
Definitely, he's been very unlucky. Then you got a 5 and 2 against 4 and 3. The Dogos against the knockouts. You got the Darlington Dragons 5 and 2, 4 and 3 as well. So some big games. Port's playing his friend this week.
Well,
Port
I
Spain
mean,
Brian.
that's if Flaggersville Lemons can get a wee win here and turn things around a little bit, it'll certainly be doing the rest a big favour as well. And he's favourite. He's quite a heavy favourite there, I have to say.
I know,
As
and
Port got
Port's got his team set as well. Well, he
yeah,
might be
so
able to put
he's
Jackson
quite.
back in, no doubt.
I
He
mean,
put
Josh
Jackson
Allen
in.
back in is always going to be a help, isn't it? You're getting Josh
Mm.
Allen back. That's going to boost your
But does Port play Jackson over
potential.
Prescott?
Yeah, I mean, why sit with Dak Prescott? And,
Yeah,
uh,
the
how
rest of the team are a bye.
he
But yeah.
must have drafted Prescott. There's no way he's got Prescott out of.
No, I think he drafted Jackson, Prescott, and Stroud, did he not? Or did he pick up Stroud? Maybe he picked up Stroud. I can't mind.
How is he 6-1? I take it all back. He's a clown. How is he 6-1?
Yeah, but
Anyway,
look at
yeah,
his
he's got
bench.
me.
Williams and Jigba, McBride. So yeah, he's got 3 good core there. So yeah, that's probably why he's 6-1.
That's good drafting though to have
Mm.
JSN and Williams and McBride. That's he started the draft well. It just went off kilter after a while.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You've got
that's a big game. It's a huge game. If Lagersville Lemons can get the win there, they might just be able to start crawling back a little bit, and it'll certainly help the 5-2s. How's he? Thank you, Derek. I'm so happy you noticed because how is that team 6-1? He's got 3 quarterbacks and one of them Stroud. It's just a waste of a bench spot. You're never going to play Stroud. Jackson and Prescott could both be injured, and you're still not going to play Stroud. Why is he sitting there?
Yeah.
Sorry,
Unless he's
ran
going
over.
against Baltimore, because he had a good game against him. Yeah, and obviously the last 2 games are 2 and 5s against 4 and 3s. So it's not
Again, that can just if the 4-3s win that, if Norwich Mustardmen and Birmingham Bears both go ahead and win there, it's it's just putting the Bluetooth Texans and Manchester Spinners too far behind them to catch them at that point. You're 3 down with 6 to play. I mean, you used to
it's a
play a
lot to
lot,
go.
Johnny. What happens when you're 3 down with 6 to play? You lose.
Yes. In fairness, we could be 3 up with 6 to play and still lose.
Oh yeah, I've done that many times, but you shouldn't is the thing. So yeah, it's said that those 2 are massive games that for, and it would tighten if the Bluetooth Texans and the Manchester Spinners can both manage to find wins there, it'll tighten the whole entire league up. It brings everybody into it.
But then, of course, if you look at the other way, if Norwich Mustard Men, Birmingham Bears, Guildford Raptors, and Knockouts all win, there's a 3-game split between 8th spot and 9th spot.
Yeah, so it's ninth and down are pretty much.
Yeah,
they're in.
So if they all lose and they ones beat the 5 and 2s, whatever, because there's no 4 and 3 against 4 and 3.
Right up.
Yeah, it's going to be but they're still going to be a battle for the top half because of the down to 8th spot, so it makes it a bit exciting that way. But yeah, it's a.
Oh yeah, I mean, but when you get that, see, when you get leagues like that, when that gap appears, it does mean that it can mean that the race for the playoffs is even tighter because everyone's winning games, because they're all beating the bottom teams. So it inevitably comes down to how you get on with those around you, and in that sense, Darlington Dragons and Doubles Darlow Diamonds, both at 5 and 2, both playing 4 and 3 teams, they could get that gap there as well. If they can get that, if they can go 6 and 2 and knock some of those 4 and 3s down to me, it's the gap opens up at a higher spot. And it brings all the ones down the bottom more into it. So this is a big week for this division in the terms of it could all tighten right back up, or it could just be bye-bye.
I actually think it was this division last year that there was one game between 1 and 9. And it all came down to the last game of the season about who got to the top 6. Because it was like one game. I think maybe even they went from first to maybe 6th or something like that because I think there's one team ahead and everybody else was near enough.
That's right. I remember that.
Yeah, everybody kept on beating each other.
Yeah, I think it was up to second could still not make the playoff. Even second place could
on the last
not
game
make the playoffs in the last game, which is just crazy. But that's what happens as well, in these tight divisions, especially when you've got guys that know what they're doing and know who they're looking for, know who they're drafting. And not only that, I always say it as well, the draft is only 10% of the 10% of the game in redraft. You have to play the agency well. And when you get a league that everyone's involved and everyone's wanting to win and everyone's playing the agency, it can be so tight. It really can.
Yep. There was 8 waiver claims today, plus 3 more pickups afterwards. So yeah, that's 11 today, so that's good. That's the third division, so we'll go on to Maze Howe, Division 2. This is your one, Derek, if you're still here. The Chester Hurricanes 186.74 against the Southampton Dockers 234.19. The Royal Raiders 160.95 against the Whitford Educators 151.07. The Glasgow Lightnings 194.20 against the Turbo Titans 217.84. The Lancaster Bombers 198.85 against the Kilmarnock Kings 187.23. The Whitchurch Warriors 147.84 against the Birmingham Master Chiefs, who won their first game 190.84. The Sandbach Satans 162.11, who were the highest scorers for the first couple of weeks, against the Nottingham Rebels 198.13. And then on to week 7, the Southampton Dockers 183.83. I'll let you.
Was unlucky both weeks. Well, we're going to have a look at this week because it was my laddie that gave you an absolute doing.
So Chester Hurricanes 169.25 against the Turbo Titans, second win in a row, 202.74. The Royal Raiders 225.90 against 212.47. The Glasgow Lightning 198.94 against the Whitchurch Warriors 158.98. Sandbach Satans lost the second game in a row, 177.70 against the Lancaster Bombers 206.92. And the Birmingham Master Chiefs 185.33 against the Nottingham Rebels 236.79. So you know what game we're going for.
His head in there. He's
watching. That's his minus point for his quarterback.
You lost to someone who had 2 at quarterback. For goodness sake, Derek. I mean, it's yeah. So let's see how unlucky the unluckiness was. Let's see where the unlucky lands. I'll tell you where the unlucky lands. I'll bet you on a Team China. He's sitting watching. They were on Red Zone, yeah. Sitting watching Red Zone and all excited with I am in awe because Ridley's out, and he's the one that they're all talking about. About the first pass of the game goes 20 yards to I am in awe. And I'll bet you he was giving it the big click loudy. Right? And it was his last catch of it. Oh no, he got one more. There you go. You got maybe one more for 9 yards. But that must have been the most heartbreaking thing about it. And it annoyed me because I have him in a couple of places that I played him where I have him. And that one catch and there was nothing else to the death. Yeah, Aaron's no daft. He's picking up more. He's playing it out. He's picking up more than he wants to let on. So he is. I'm sure he's studying and stuff because he's starting to pick up the right players at the right time. I'm sure he didn't. It wouldn't have been long ago he picked up Gadsden.
No, I wouldn't think so. Like
to have the kahunas to chuck him in, after just one good week is.
That doesn't tell you that.
I mean, Metcalf done nothing really. I want to see the bench. I want to see what he left on the bench. That's the most fun. So Henry on by obviously doesn't help. Franklin could have helped, I guess, but yeah, he's played the right team, I guess.
Yeah, it's like.
Yeah, he played the right team. I can't knock that. I can't knock him for leaving someone stupid on the bench. So yeah, unlucky, Derek. You ran into a score despite the fact he had 2 at quarterback. So well done, Aaron. Good picking and keep it going. That's 2 wins in a row now, and he's heading up the way. Everett's going along. Everett's going along really well there. 5-2, Turbinville Titans, good on them. Sandbach Satan's up there as well, 5-2. And this is the one. This is a big one. This gets you into the top division. This is the one you really want to get through. and down, there is a game gap between 6 and 7 now, so 7 and down, got to start winning. Derek's
But
going to
then look
need
at
to snap that losing streak.
Kilmarnock Kings have scored more points than 5 and 6. If we can get level on games, then they'll jump above them. So that's one thing for Derek. He scored 1,400. Even Glasgow Lightning have scored 1,390 odds.
I mean, at
7,
the
8,
end of
and
the
9
day,
have scored more than 5 and 6.
that can be important at the end of the day.
Oh,
Look at
Jesus.
Nottingham Rebels sitting there on 1,500 points. That's huge. That's great scoring from the Nottingham
So
Rebels.
the Whitford Educators have only scored more points than 11th and 12th. Obviously, the one who's in front of them, so that's all that matters. But, yeah.
I mean, the points for very much can, if you're tied at the end, and there'll be so many teams that are 7-7. There'll be leagues where there's 3 and 4 teams that are 7-7. For 2 spots, and so the points for matter at that point. But at the end of the day, what matters more is the win call. And I mean, Whitworth Educators at 1,298, 4 and 3. They need 4 more wins and they'll be in. But you would be slightly worried that you're not scoring the points, but it can absolutely come, and if you've got the wins on the board and then you find a wee player or two out of agency that can turn it all around for you, all of a sudden you're in, and you're looking good, and it's all about getting that momentum, getting into the playoffs. It doesn't matter. If you can get the wins on the board, it doesn't matter what you're scoring early doors. It matters what you're scoring when you hit the playoffs.
Definitely. You're going to get the team in front of you. So as long as you do that, you get the win. So we'll go to how they're doing, who's playing who this week. So we've got a 6 and 1 and 5 and 2.
Game at the top. If Everett's got his eyes, if Everett's got eyes on winning the division, that's a huge game.
Derek's playing Whitford Educators, so that's a
massive as well. I mean, to be fair, if Derek wins that game, it all turns around for him. That's him back to 500, back on the winning trail. He scored very well against Aaron. He just didn't win, So yeah, big game there. If he can turn it round, then he can forget about the last 2 weeks.
So Aaron's up against the highest scoring team, Sandbach Satans. The Richard Warriors are up against the Chester Hurricanes, 1 6, 3 and 4. So a big game for Aaron. It's going to be a close one. Nottingham Rebels are up against the Glasgow Lightning, 4 and 3 against 3 and 4, and down the bottom you've got the Birmingham Master Chiefs for their second win against the Lancaster Bombers, who are saying that his running backs are diabolical in the chat.
I mean, well, let's go have a look. Let's see. Sorry, I've not got the chat open, so I've got the whole pic so as I can see it properly. Oh, do you know what? By the way, I quite like him. I like Manona guy. I think he's going to go well.
He had a good game last week. They ran the ball a lot last week.
I think he's going to get more and more touches as the season goes on, and he actually looks pretty decent. And he's got Smith there as well, another one who is. I mean, if you actually go sit and watch the plays and watch each of the snaps, he looks the best running back in Kansas. He does genuinely look better than Pacheco, and I think Hunt's pretty much done. So, I mean, I'd be delighted with those two at running back at the moment, I have to say, because I think they're only going to get better. And the position that I'm in, that's kind of what I'm looking for. I'm looking for ones that are going to get better type thing,
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I wouldn't be upset with those running backs.
Birmingham Master Chiefs needs a defensive player to put in because it's looking on a buy. Apart from that,
I'm sure he'll pick that up. I'm sure he'll pick that up before the weekend. Aaron, you've got to take 2 out, pal. Get 2 to.
Has he got?
Who's he got on the bench? Has he got a quarterback on the bench?
He had 3, but I think he got rid of one.
Jeez, Lou.
Did he not?
Right, time to go to agency, Aaron. Go and pick up a quarterback.
See who's available.
Kincaid's meant to be back this week as well, isn't he? Yeah, but I mean, Aaron's the last couple of weeks, 2 good wins the last couple of weeks. He's getting quite excited. He's got that stupid helmet that he won year 1 front and centre. Honestly, every time I walk into his house, it's like there. It's starting to annoy me because I ain't getting one this year either, so it's starting to annoy me now. It's it has to go, but yes, he's got
Well, it's got a
options there.
choice
You
of
know, it's
Mariota, Taylor, Wentz, Rodgers, Dalton, Penix, and Rattler. I don't have to be tempted to play Rattler against that Bucks defense because they're not that great, and it could be a
I mean,
shootout.
if I'm Aaron, I'd be going in and I'd be picking up Aaron Rodgers for late, not for this week, but for later on in the season. You know, I mean, he's going to score points. He's got a decent line in front of him, not brilliant, but decent, and he's got good targets to throw at. He's going to score points, so
Just hopefully not
he's
this
going to
week.
score more points than Stroud for me, and he's certainly going to score more points than Tua for me. So time to give up on Tua, Aaron. Go and take a swing with
Yeah,
someone else.
yeah, I could see him getting benched again if he carries on the way he was. But that was Division 1. So we're up to Happy Valley Division 1 of Happy Valley, the team that can win the OrkneyBowl. The Melbourne
Me.
Supremacy, 216.05 against the Portland Lumberjacks, 130 points. Year Villains, 178.60 against the Crew Juggernauts, 170. The Dollar Destroyers are defending champions, 243.89 against the Kirkwall Cowboys, 206. That was 2-6-1s, or 2-6-0s at the time. The Kirkwall Raiders,
Yeah.
Allen, 204.29 against the Gothenburg Angels, 180. Belfast Benchwarmers was 193.56 against the South London Rebels, 218.66. Then you got the Bognor Regis Falcons, 206.28 against 162.71 Diggins Heath Demons. And in week 7,
143 is hell of a score in week 6 for the defending champs.
Year Villains 168.79 against 192 for Melbourne Supremacy. Kirkwall Cowboys back to winning ways, 214.69 against the Portland Lumberjacks, who lose again, 192.89. Kirkwall Raiders score 226 this week, but lose to the one the first game last week. The Crew Juggernauts at 245. The Dollar Destroyers, who did get £216, but lost the first game to the South London Rebels, 240.46. Bognor Regis Falcons win their second game in a row, 158.06 against the Gothenburg Angels, 125.49. Not sure what's happening there. Then you got Belfast Benchwarmers, 236.84 against the Dickens Demons, 113.32. So high scores and some very low scores. So
Can I just say before we start digging into this that so defending champions, Dallow Destroyers, so that means that they won right through the playoffs last season, and they got into the playoffs. So I mean, they had a 6-game win streak to start the season. Their win streak must be at least 12, 13. That is a hell of a going in the top division of this league. So you have to doff your cap to the Darlow Destroyers for that level of consistency in a league like this. So well done, El Chunko. Super playing. And sometimes it's inevitable that the week that you do lose, you finally lose that winning run. You still score really well, and you just run into a massive score. So well done, Tony. You've stopped the run, and you can all start hoping that the slip maybe starts now. That's maybe on a wee slope.
well, they're not even top anymore.
Not even top anymore, but
There's
certainly
3 teams,
flying.
6-1.
3 teams at 6-1. I mean, this
look at
one, this
6.
division's really open. In terms of, there's 3 teams there that are practically in the playoffs already. I mean, it would be a massive shock if any one of them didn't make the playoffs. So there's kind of only 3 places left to play for, and South London Rebels have got 1 foot in. So Portland Lumberjacks, and then it's and down. They're fighting for 2 places now, I would say.
I know, and a couple of losses in a row they're going the wrong direction. I do feel sorry for
Yeah,
Alan because that's a couple of weeks of good scores. He's sitting at 1,300 points, and he could easily.
I mean that's very unlucky.
So,
But
he's
do you know
only
what the
2
thing
games
is?
away from the top.
That,
Top
that
6.
he's not out of it, Johnny. Because of the way this division's going at the moment. Alan's still well in it. Kirkwall Raiders down here at 1-6. There's other divisions you look at, and 1-6 is, three games off. He's only 2 games off, and it's so many. There's so many. many there that can that aren't going very well. So yeah, I can absolutely see Alan still coming back into it. He's not dead yet. Very much like how he's went in the home league. Do you know what I mean? When we were writing him off as nothing, and now he's one of the best squads. First, don't know how
Well,
it's
he was
happened.
writing himself off. He's trying to his players away. But yeah.
It's Gothenburg Angels down there. You know, they've been such high scorers in the first two seasons of OrkneyBowl, so it's very surprising to see them languishing down at the bottom half of the league. And indeed, what was it, 125 points this week or something?
125, but then the Dickinson Demons, who got promoted last year, they were projected to get 205 and they got 113. So that's a hell of a drop from what they're supposed to get.
That's a bit of a disaster, you know. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how Gatch bounces back. You know, he's obviously been up the top end first 2 years, so it'll be interesting to see how he is in a relegation battle. See if he's got the mettle for it or not.
Ooh, got 2 6-1s again. So the last time Ross was near the top one, went head to head, he lost. This one's going to be a cracker. This one, 216 to 217.
Yeah,
and they got
close.
Allen up against the U Villains to get his second win. The Portland Lumberjacks up against the South London Rebels at 5 and 2, 4 and 3. 2, 3 and 4 is the Bognor Regis against the Crew Juggernauts. The Darla Destroyers hoping to get back by beating the Dickinson Demons at 2 and 5. And then you got the Belfast Benchwarmers 2 and 5 against the Gothenburg Angels at 2 and 5.
So some big games there, none more so than that one right up at the top there, you know, right at the top.
You had a wedding last week.
Done more than fully saying out, Martin, I can assure you it's indeed. It's falling out last week with the disasters that are happening.
But yeah, that didn't help. You're doing well in the home league.
Big game up at the top there. Let's go and have a wee look at Kirkwall Cowboys against the Melbourne Supremacy, see what's going on, because they seem to have both done their teams already. So let's see who we think's looking. JT's been brilliant this year. I mean, he's just been an absolute beast. He's
up against
carrying my show me the money team. But yeah, he's firing in all cylinders, you know, and it's and as is CMC for Ross and his Kirkwall Cowboys, you know. But yeah, you can see how this JT and Chase, oof, one of these 6-1.
Yeah.
What's on the bench, more to the point? What's sitting on the bench? What would we say?
Nothing.
They should play blah. Yeah, there's no one really on their benches that you would think is an auto start, would you?
No.
Sweet. Yeah, teams have picked themselves, so it'll be interesting to see where it goes.
Admit, I would even be tempted to play the kicker, Luke over Gay for Washington. He's got 2 kickers.
So yeah, I mean, he's kicking just fine, isn't he?
Because that Luke boy's been kicking really well. So is Matt Gay, obviously, or Matt Gay, but yeah.
I wouldn't put him off doing that in the sense that, you know, Luke's doing just fine. He's not missing much, you know. It's it was little. It's the big problem, you know. I went quite big on him because there was all the chat of him kicking 80-yarders and stuff, you know. So I went quite heavy on him in places. And
I think you probably drafted him after he hit that. Was it a 70-yard field goal in pre-season or something like that?
Yeah, that was that was when I started jumping all over him. But yeah, I've started to drop him now everywhere because he's on his bye week this week as well, so he's gone. But yeah, that'll be a close game. We'll see how that turns out next week.
Definitely, I'll be keeping my eye on that one over the weekend. Never mind the next week. So we're going to the East Conference. You've got the Millhead. So you've got the Workshop of Rookies. No, they're not that anymore. They're now called Workhorses. I keep remembering that. 217.78 against the Lee Vikings, 135.47. Edinburgh Thunderbirds, 220 points up against the Chicago Scorpions, who were 6-0 but now 6-1. 150. Well, they were 5-0 at the time. Is that right? Yeah.
Yeah, they would have been 5-0 at the time.
The Laxdale Legends under 67.40 against the Preston Hawks, 156.16. The Bedford Brewskis, 177.91, and El Mano, Ian finally won a game for 260.79.
60 points.
Yeah. The Portsmouth Pirates, 189.73 against the Nairn Knights, 177.31. The Plymouth Argyle Browns, 254.59 against the Bucks Gold Rush. Gary, 122.44. Guess he probably didn't set his team again. Then you got week 7, you got Edinburgh Thunderbirds, 199 against 190 for the Workhorses. The Blackstone Legends win again, 179.42 against the Lee Vikings, who lose again, 135.71. The Chicago Scorpions back to winning ways, 212.01 against the Preston Mooney Tunes, 181.32.
Like the
Preston
normal
Hawks, 160.76 for the Preston Hawks against the Portsmouth Pirates, 218.44. Arthur, 191.43 up against the Bedford Brewskis, 223.81. And the Bucks Gold Rush, they got more this time, 151.19 against the Nairn Knights, 160.74. So at the two, we've got 3, 5, and 2s, a 6 and 1, and 2, 4, and 3s, and 2, 3. So it's pretty evenly spread out actually. So
yeah, they're evenly spread out, but the bottom half is, behind the top half. So, and with 4 teams at 5 and 2, this is another division that could quickly get away from those down the bottom. It's said that they have to start winning now if they want to keep up. So, but big week for a lot of them. Obviously it's. I mean, 260 points in week 6. That was huge. That was a nut score.
that was
But again,
yeah.
there's no relegation. So if I'm down there, if I'm Gary, if I'm Preston Hawks, Bedford Brewskis, I'm going for it. I'm taking some risks. I'm going to take some guys that have got potentially high ceilings. Preston Mooney Tunes as well. Go pick up the guys that could just kick off at the back end of the season.
Well, Preston Mooney Tunes have picked up Joe Flacco today, Eddie Pinheiro.
It's good to see that they're in there picking them up as well and not giving up, and it's at the end of the day, Division 4, you would be forgiven for giving up, at 1 and 6. But you got to keep going, you got to give yourself a chance because at the end of the day, you win this week and you win next week, and all of a sudden you're 3 and 6, and you're on a win streak, and stranger things have happened, and coming back from 1 and 6 to just squeaking into playoffs in the last week of the season. So it's not completely over yet. It's not far off it, but it's not completely over yet.
Well, the Edinburgh Thunderbirds dropped Cam Little and picked up Evan McPherson. It's a good change. And Workhorses picked up Tyler Loop and dropped Chase McLaughlin. You would have thought being kicked. He had a 53-yarder the other day, and he will get more chances than that. He's got a good kicker, but yeah, Flacco over Fields, that's understandable. Oh, Pesci dropped AJ Barnes.
Flacco's got a good game this week as well. I can't remember who it is for the life of me now, but I know he's got a good game this week because I brought him in a team because he had a better game than the quarterback I had, which was well, I don't think. But that's. I like the Flacco move this week, I have to say, and it's not because it's flat. I mean, he's a 40-whatever-year-old. He should be drawing his pension. But the thing is, he's still got an arm, and he's got some great guys to throw to now. He's got some proper prime.
They're playing the Jets this
targets week. Now. He's playing the Jets, yeah. So he's got some big targets now. So yeah, I can see Flacco scoring pretty decent in the coming weeks as well.
I think I picked him up somewhere just to put him in. There's a plug-in because
let's see who's playing who. Let's see who's playing in week 8.
So you got a 5 and 2 against 4 and 3 Blackstone against Worksop, a 5 and 2 against 1 and 6 Edinburgh Thunderbirds against Preston Mooney Tunes. They're 3 and 4 against 5 and 2. Lee Vikings against Portsmouth Pirates, a 4 and 3 against 6 and 1 Plymouth against Chicago, a 2 and 5 against 2 and 5. So you got Gary against Pez. Then you got a 3 and 4 against 2 and 5. So the battle of the 2 and 5.
Those bottom two are absolutely huge because the winners are going to get themselves kind of back in the hunt and kind of knock the losers pretty much, at least put one nail in a coffin because the 5 and you've got to expect the 5 and 2s to beat the kind of 2 and 5s type thing, So That could get them back in the hunt if likes of Lee Vikings are losing, if Plymouth Argyle Browns are losing.
Is he hit his team? Looks like oh no, he's missing a kicker.
Missing a kicker.
But he picked up McPherson, so that'll be 9 points. Yeah, that's going to be a close
certainly
one.
make it.
Yeah.
It'll certainly put the game close. That's for sure. Because what does a kicker project, about 8 or 9 points? So yeah, it'll put it very, very close. But it's one that if Preston Moonitunes does win the game, it'll bring them right back into it in terms of at 2-6. You're not dead. Put it that way. 7 losses, and I would say you're dead. He's got no lives left. Is the thing, Preston Moonitunes have 0 lives left, so it's win or bust really every week from now on.
Yeah, it's like they're on that final every week. Going. I know they were. Yeah.
So yeah,
they're scoring the points. They just come up against it. Well, I think Arthur's playing the top team, so that's a hungry. That's going to be a hard one. Bedford Bruce, because they're playing near night, so they could come up to 3 and 4. Pez could go to 3 and 4.
It's in danger.
He needs to win.
Or if he loses, he's dead. But I mean, 1,300 points. It's scoring okay, the scoring's there, so every chance. But as I say, this one, if this one tightens up, it could get really tight. But I do see kind of Laxdale Legends, Portsmouth Pirates, Edinburgh Thunderbirds, and Chicago Scorpions, kind of moving away, and then it's going to come down to the chase for 2 spots again this division by the looks of it.
Yeah, I can see Workshop Rookies getting a fifth. Arthur's the thing because he's playing Chicago Scorpions. So, but the thing is, even if he loses, there's still a good chance he's still going to hang on to 6th. And he's got rid of the top team out of the way. That's where you look at it. And a bye-mageddon week when there's 6 teams on a bye. So if you can get past that, then he's still got a good chance.
It's still a bigger game for him than it is for the Scorpions, though. They can afford to lose a couple and still be quite comfortable.
He's got
Brock Purdy straight back in. He's got Brock Purdy sitting there, and he's projected for 0, so that'll change anyway. That'll give him a wee projection boost.
Oh, he'll get Urban back probably week 10.
Yeah, you're not getting him back next week. It's a bye week next week.
Yeah,
got to play Drake May. Drake May's been fantastic. How good has Drake May been this season? Not necessarily for fancy. It's not like he's knocked out the park, but it just looks so good on the pitch, doesn't he?
Oh, he's got loads of confidence. He's looking
real. I mean, he really could be a thing. It would be kind of annoying because it would mean that the Patriots are a thing again, and nobody needs that.
Yeah, look at who he's throwing to, though. You know what I mean? It's just like bloody hell, man.
And he's connecting, though, is the thing.
Yeah, it's like he can throw a bomb, like he just sits him right in the dot. But yes, which is fine for me for the home league because I've got him as a quarterback. So.
Yeah, I mean, I've got him in loads of places. I went quite big on him this year.
And he's got the legs as well, which is also handy.
That always helps for fantasy purposes. And I mean, he's had some really big weeks for fantasy, but he's had some really kind of slow weeks as well. So it's, and that's kind of the nature of it. But he's looked, even in the slow weeks, he's looked really good on the pitch.
I'd like a big game this week. He is playing against the Cleveland Defence, which they're pretty good.
Yeah, no, it's a tough. But I mean, they have them and the 49ers have got the 2 best schedules for the season. So he's going to have some big weeks ahead as well.
Yep,
and some easy games.
We'll go into our division now. So this is where I lost my week 6, where I lost my unbeaten record. The Orkney Orcas 191.94 against the 239.9 Kirkwall Chargers. Hot Shot Hot Dog 172.57 to Doug 269.03. The Rotherham Raiders 176.63 against the Bankbook Panthers 179. The Preston Panthers 183.8 against the Edinburgh Packers 150.97. The Aberdeen Bucks 184.82 against the Glossop Fighting Gophers 141.26. The Borden Bears 225.50 against the Newcastle Buccaneers 153.74. And the big week pre in this one. So the Orkney Orcas are 236.17 against the Newcastle Buccaneers 214.71. The Bangfoot Panthers under 65.09 against the Hot Shot Hot Dogs under 52.73. I'll let you read this one out.
The Packers 201 against the Top Head Niners 192.
So I thought I'll let you read that one out. Then you got the Rotherham Raiders under 51.07 against the Aberdeen Bucks 146. 219.34 against 185.43. Border Bears, Preston Panthers over Border Bears, and the Kirkwall Chargers win again. Another high scoring 231.01 against the Glossop Fighting Gophers 155.96.
Well, I'm not being funny, Johnny, but they all had to go. I'm so happy it went this week. So happy. And it was funny as well because he didn't think he thought he had the in the bag the whole entire week. It was in the bag for him the whole week, you know.
But
And then
we'll
of
the game
course
then.
it wasn't. So can't even remember exactly. Yeah, I mean he had Mahomes went off and all that, and I only had Lawrence, who was so disappointing at Wembley as well, you know. So it was early and it was such a bad start. But yeah, Lamb came good for me, and Devontae Smith, you know, he's been so cold, so it was nice to see him deliver, and of course McBride done it. And he had Genty in there at only 5.5 because, I mean, you didn't even know the Las Vegas Raiders were playing for three-quarters of a game, did you? I seen that they had
No.
the ball for a total of something like, I think it was just under 19 minutes or something, which is the lowest total time on with the ball by about 3 minutes. You know, that's how bad a game the Raiders had on Sunday. So yeah, that would have been disappointing for him. And of course, Drake London didn't do a whole lot later on
No.
against his own Niners. And yeah, despite the fact that my defence done utter pants, held on and I got just over 200 points and I broke the duck. But I mean, I'm not holding out much hope for much more coming, you know. So I'm just delighted that I got the win against him.
Well, you broke the duck. That's the main thing. There you go.
I
There's
broke
the
it, but that's
standings.
it. At the end of the day, I've got it. It's all about It's all about not getting relegated for me now, and hopefully seeing the likes of Doug and Fraser in the relegation playoffs with me. You know, you're gone, so there's no point looking at you now. You're absolutely top, and not only top. Can I just shout out to the number one seed and the highest point scoring, the first to 1,600 points this year, Orcas, sorry. What is going on, Johnny?
Oh, I've absolutely not. Consider I've not had Bucky Brooks for is it Bucky Brooks missing?
Okay, Irvin.
No, Bucky Irvin. And obviously Garrett Wilson missing for the last couple of weeks because he was scoring high. I've managed to scrape it by. Like I think I picked up Alec Pierce this week. And I played him when Josh Downs was down, so he had a good few points as well.
Yeah, you
So
did
it's just
well
extremely
that.
lucky. And obviously Jack can help with that one because he did tell me to pick up Landman in week 2. And he's
Yeah,
been
Landman's been
a
great.
tackling
I've got him
machine.
in a dynasty. But
Yeah,
yeah,
so he's
so I
been
mean that our division's opening up now, though, Johnny. You know, it's kind of it's 4-3 to 3-4, the 6-7 gap. So again, it's very important for us down there, seventh and down. I'm 3 games behind, so it's a long way for me. I don't see next to no chance. But what I'm looking at is kind of seventh and eighth and getting that bye in the first game of the playoff, the consolation. So I only need to win one game to ensure my safety. So
we actually have a
that's kind of
question
what
from Martin on that. So what it is, Martin, the top 6, the top 2 seeds get a bye into the next round, which means they're guaranteed promotion because the top 4 spots go up. For the consolation, the top 2 teams, 1 and 2 seeds, get a bye, but they still have to win a game because you have to get through to the final. So the loser of the first game in the consolation are relegated. When the team that gets through plays the teams that got a bye, and it's the 2 teams that get through to the final of the consolation that stay in the division, and then the 4 teams get relegated. There you go. He's got it.
So
Cool.
that's how it's what one and done. One and done is what I'm looking for. So that's exactly what I'm looking for. And I would be delighted to see Fraser and Doug join me there because I'd love to see those two go down. I really would. But There you go. It's they could just as easily get themselves back into it, with a couple of good wins. They're certainly there to strike, but
Yeah,
it
because they're
has to
scoring.
come soon because you can't allow the top six to get too far away, And let's go and see who's playing who this week because there's a few biggies this week, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm up against 5-2 Preston Panthers.
I mean that's kind of one of those ones where you're pretty much there. If Preston Panthers win, they're pretty much there. So what we need you to do is beat Preston Panthers and drag them back into the battle a little bit. That would be uber important. And of course, with me
You're up
playing
against the
hot shot hot
hot
dogs,
dogs.
it's pretty much lose and forget about it. And
Yeah, and then
if you
obviously
win,
you've
you've
got
got
4-3, 3-4. The Aberdeen Bucks against the Blackfoot Panthers. You've got 3-4 against 5-2. The Doug against the Bowden Bears. A 2-5 against 5-2. The Kirkwall Chargers have been flying the last couple of weeks, so I'd be a surprise if they do lose to the Rotherham Raiders at 2-5. Glossop Fighting Gophers 2-5 up against a 4-3. So yeah, it could be interesting.
I have to
This
say,
is
I'm
a
at the
lot
stage.
closer than what it is because I don't expect his team. So
Yeah, I mean, I'm at the stage now where I hope that the 5-2s and yourself, even the 4-3s kick on. I'm happy for you guys to kick on and beat the teams that are in the bottom six because obviously I want to get to 7th or 8th so as I can get that by week 1. So yeah, I'm very much hoping the likes of Aberdeen Bucks beats Bankfoot Panthers and brings them closer to me. I hope Bottom Bears beats Doug's team and brings him closer to me. I hope that the Kirkwall Chargers beat the Rotherham Raiders and keep them down there at 2-5. Let's just tighten it all up. You guys just go and enjoy your promotion shot and leave us children to the fight, the food fight, at the bottom. So yeah, it's opening up though, Johnny. It's opening up here, and you're looking very good. I have to say it. I'll be very surprised if you don't get promoted this year.
well, it'd be nice to make up for last year, but we'll see what happens. There's a long way to go. So
And you'll
I
need to.
think
You know what the thing is? You get all of these helmets in every year. You get all of these helmets in, and you send every one of them out the door. It's about time you put one on the mantelpiece.
well, I got one for myself from the new boy that made them because I wanted one for in case I never won one. I got one just for
Yeah,
the
but
hell of it.
that's bought. That's like seeing our golf tour, seeing the golf tour. If you finish like in the top 4 in your division in your section, you qualify for to go and play a tournament abroad. But you can buy your way into it. See those who buy their way into it, they've not won it. See that helmet there, you've not won it. You need to replace that with a winning one, and you've got to do it this year because you're on.
Well, yeah, we'll see what happens. But yeah, like it's a long way to go. Plenty injuries can
Long
still
way to go.
happen, but yeah, I'm certainly
Listen,
hoping.
any
Well,
given Sunday goes into as soon as the playoffs start. Any given Sunday is an operation at that point as well. That how often do we see that the number one seed who's romped through the regular season, 12-2, getting absolutely pummeled by the 6th seed and first or the 8th seed when you've got when you play full quarters in the first round. It's so easy to happen. That's what fantasy football is. All it takes is a couple of your big time scorers to have bad weeks,
yeah.
and you're out.
The thing is, though, I'm having to play. I've got Adams on a bye. Wilson's not. He'll not be playing. So I picked up Troy Franklin. So I'm sitting there with two Denver wide receivers, but they are playing against Dallas, so you never know what's going to happen with that one.
Oh, you got
And Alex Pierce
you
again.
got. You should go and pick up. Ingram as well and stick him in too, playing against that Dallas defense. I tell you.
Oh yeah, I only picked up Franklin to be the backup, but then it was already announced that the other one was out, so I put him in. I picked up Rogers because Mayfield was questionable, so it's an auto sub. If Mayfield doesn't play, I'll get Rogers, and I've got Johnson as backup for Goddard if he doesn't play. So I've got myself covered. I picked up players to cover players that were questionable in case they don't play. So
I mean,
I don't have to worry about it.
it
It's
is a
all
big
set
game in
up.
the sense that you're playing one of the 5 and 2 teams, so you know you go 7-1, you're knocking him even further behind you, and you're looking good to get the top of the division. You know, it is a big game in that sense. But at the end of the day, really, what it's about for you and all the 6-1s, what it's about is players staying fit now. But you should be going to bed every night saying a silent prayer for your players to not get hurt for the playoffs.
I've got a voodoo doll and the rest of the 49ers players to keep McAfee safe.
Exactly.
Wrap him up in cotton wool because he was like I remember I did get a bit of a ribbon for picking him up so early. I think I got him in the 106. But Ken, if he stays healthy, I sort of wish I picked up Urban in the second round, but I do regret not picking up Taylor. But if I'd known that Daniel Jones was going to be the quarterback, I probably would have picked up Taylor. But you didn't know then he was going to be quarterback. So
the thing about it, I mean, nobody picked up Taylor. It was almost disrespect to the guy, you know, where he was getting drafted. It was ridiculous. And I mean, I'm guilty of it as well. I almost didn't keep him, and at the home league, I almost didn't keep him. I almost kept BT instead, Brian Thomas. So happy I didn't.
Well, I did that in the show with the keeper, but then I traded him away to you for a
So
Booker.
you did?
Well, I gave you a third and got a seventh back with it. So
yeah, something like that. Yeah,
yeah. But no,
I mean that's
I
it
regretted
hurt me
keeping him
to
as soon
give
as
away a Booker there, but it's one of those ones where I don't think I would have kept a Booker anyway, so I was happy to make a trade.
I just as soon as it had locked, I was like, why the fuck did I keep him? It's too late after that. You can't do nothing about it. So.
Listen, this is coming from the guy who kept Deontay Johnson, so you know you're capable of anything, Johnny.
That was the one I kept him in January, and I never even bothered to check it. Come the draft, got locked. Yeah, that was not the best thing, especially just non-PPR.
No, exactly.
Yeah, I learned that mistake, but
you did.
Although I did get funny look when I picked up Jahmyr Gibbs at the 104 in the first draft when he was a rookie.
Well, yeah, well, that's
I took a gamble on that one, and that was
for sure.
Sort of paying off a bit. But yeah. Anyway, so go on to Division 2, Yesneby. So yeah, Solihull Sharks 191.75 against the Warners Bay Goonies 164.89. Norton Warriors 176.84 against the Ancoats Citizens 223. Leeds Lepers 0-7, 124.98 against the Southern Flyers 213.19. The New Mexico Chupacabras 176 against the UK Colts 212. Arcadia Red Wolves 149 against 187 New Barcelona Masters. And the Darlington Rams stopped their losing streak 207.50 against 205.63 Yorkshire Finns. And in week 7, you've got the Ancoats Citizens 193 against the Warners Bay Goonies 251. Leeds Lepers 118.93 against 165.31 Solihull Sharks. Norton Warriors 161.54 against the EK Colts 224.79. Arcadia Red Wolves 219.14 against the Sarans Flyers 266.56. That's another good score from Martin. New Mexico Chupacabras on 75.40 against the 221.49 Yorkshire Finns. The New Barcelona Masters 207.06 against the Darlington Rams 157.45. So back to losing way for Sam. So that puts Martin at the top. You'd be happy with that one. Is he still here?
I mean, that's a great score for him. Super scoring there.
He is.
I mean, this one really
well too.
This is really opening up. Look, there's 6 teams with 5 wins in this division. 6 teams at 5 and 2. That's just crazy. So it is. And of course, we've got
3 points between 1 and 3rd.
I mean, the 0-7's dead now. They're going into that's absolutely dead. And you know it's not yet. There has to be a lot of unluckiness to go on there for Leeds Lepers to be 0-7. But I wouldn't be surprised if they've given up the regular season now. But just remember and keep your eye in, because you have to think about promotion relegation. So this isn't your year. Fine. Make sure you stay in the division. And then next year you get another shot at getting up into Division 1, you know. But yeah, Soren's Flyers, it could be double promotion at this rate, you know. It's just such a tight league. And see, if you look at it, the top three,
3 points.
1,516 points, 1,515 points, 1,513 points. So really, it's tighter than a nun's twat.
Yeah, it is very tight. So yeah, and obviously 4 and 3 is in 7th, so they're only 1 game back, but they're a lot of points behind. They're nearly over 100 points behind the team in 6th for point scoring, so it's a big difference for Solihull Sharks. But Warren's Viguni had a good score last week. The 3 and 4 got 100. They've got 1,400 points. They've scored more points than team in 5th, but they're 2 games back. So they need to get a couple of wins in the board.
This division will be 7 and 7 won't get in this division for sure. You're going to need 8. You're going to need 8 wins to get in this division, because that's just, you know, 6 teams at 5 and 2. I'd bet my house one of them won't make the playoffs.
Yeah. Well, they're up against a couple of them up against each other here, obviously. You've got an 0-6 These Leopards against the 3 and 4 Warners Bay Goonies. You've got 5 and 2 Ancoats Citizens against the 5 and 2 EK Colts. They've got the 4 and 3 Solihull Sharks against the 1 and 6 Arcadia Red Wolves. They really want to win that one. The Waterloo Warriors 5 and 2 against the Yorkshire Finn 5 and 2. Darlington Dragons are 3 and 4 up against the Sarans Flyers 5 and 2. The Darlington will be wanting to win that one to keep close. And you've got the New Mexico Chupacabras against the New Barstow Masters 5 and 2. So a couple of good 5 and 2
Darlington Rams do beat. It's a huge game for Martin, that one. If the Darlington Rams, if Sam can go and get a win against Martin this week, it puts them right in the hunt, you know. But more importantly, it slows down the runaway train, you know, at the top there, in 260 points this week. So that really is a big game for both teams. And obviously, you know, Martin he knows himself, top 2, get the bye, you know, he'll be after that. He got it last year, and it really did help him last year, because he started to stutter a little bit towards the end, and you know, obviously got himself through there. But yeah, it's a big game, and he's running high again. Double promotions on the cards. So where does it stop? I mean, Arcadia Red Wolves, for example, they're at 1 and 6. It's a massive game for Solihull Sharks, you know, to keep pace with the 5-2s. But Arcadia Red Wolves at 1 and 6, it's, you know, they're favourites to win, but you can't say that they're 4 wins behind the playoffs with 7 games to go. You know, it's almost impossible to catch that difference up. So yeah, bigger game for Solihull Sharks for sure, because they've got a great chance of making it, whereas Arcadia Red Bulls have got to think about staying in the division now. New Mexico Chippewas as well, they're at 1 and 6 in this division with 6th place having 5 wins. I just don't see how they can get back into it. So it's all about 9th and up.
Definitely. So that's that one. So we'll go on to the top division now, St Magnus. But the Leicester Tigers 138.97 against the Godalming Goats 219. Stockholm Bengals 163.75 against the Carlton Crew 203.59. Leeds Lassos 188.41 against the Harrow Harlequins 190.34. Dublin Everton Blues 160.55 against the Newcastle Colts 219.99. The Glasgow Eagles 164.69 against the Whitford Rockstars 251.40. Zach did mess with series enjoying the league this year. Seattle Patriots 204.80 against the Manchester Bees 155.09. A bit of low scoring up for the Manchester Bees. Then you've got the Godalming Goats week 7 172 against the 252 for the Carlton Crew. Leicester Tigers 196.69 against 192 Harrow Harlequins. A bit of an unlucky one that. You've got the Stockholm Bengals 218.81, so they're on a bit of a roll against the Dublin Everton Blues 156. You're now at least a 2-game losing streak. Leeds Lassos 174.68 against the Whitford Rockstars 245.30. The Newcastle Colts 224.91, but coming up against 231.71 of Seattle Patriots. And then down the bottom there, you've got Poor Gary 126.07 against the Manchester Bees 188.73. So not the high score, but gets them to 5-2. There you go. Jack's a high scoring team. Very happy sitting at the top there, 5-2. So 3 at 5-2, 3 at 4-3. So it's pretty
I mean,
close at the
it's
top
one.
there.
It's and then 3 at 3-4. So you know, this one is so much closer. You know, it's so much tighter where anything can happen. I mean, Jack's obviously sitting up there, 1,510 points as well, top scorer, top of the division, and you know, looking favourite at this stage, at the halfway stage, he's looking favourite to be the East representative in the final. So, and massive for him, you know. He must be loving it. Manchester Bees right there as well. Leicester Tigers, you know. Sean right behind at 4-3, and Stoke and Bengals doubling. I mean, it could not be closer, this one. And a couple of wins, couple of losses can make all the difference. This is at the stage where you want to be playing Leeds Lassos, you want to be playing Godalming Goats, you want to be playing Harlow Harlequins. But even at that, you know, at 2-5, they're not out of it by any manner of means.
2
You know,
games
they're only
back,
2 wins
anything.
off the
That's
playoffs. Big difference
definitely.
between being 2 wins off the playoffs and being 4 wins off the playoffs, you know. So yeah, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if either one of those teams goes on a wee. If you go on a wee winning run, you're going to jump up very quickly. So all open, massively open, and all to play for, and so it should be in the top division, Johnny.
Yeah, it should be. Yeah, it should be close. But
You know, it's and the points differences when you look at the points differences there, you know, you got Leicester Tigers winning by a couple. You've got, you know, you've got Leicester Tigers there winning just by a couple of points. You've got, you know, a couple of teams got, you know, Sean scoring 224 points and losing. That I bet you just about every team in here will have some sort of sob story or have some sort of whoa, I got lucky story at the same time, you know. And
well, apart from Graham,
that's what, again, it's what the top division should be. So who's playing who this week? It could be you know, if the 3, 5, and 2s can be avoid each other and all 3 win,
no,
that would make a big difference to them. But they've not avoided each other. Look.
no. So you got the 2-5 Godalming Goats against the 2-5 Harrow Harlequins. But the 4-3 Dublin Everton Blues up against the 3-4 Carlton Crew, who are on a roll. The Leicester Tigers 5-2 against the Whitworth Rockstars 5-2. Then you've got the 3-4 Seattle Patriots against the 4-3 Stoke Bengals. Then you've got the Leeds Lassos 2-5, who are usually a high scoring team, against the Manchester Bees 5-2. Then you've got Sean 4-3 against 3-4 Graham. Ooh, show me the money derby.
Show me the money derby, and a big one too, 4-3 and 3-4.
That,
yeah, I mean
that even a Newcastle derby is Sean not a Newcastle fan?
Sean is from Newcastle, yes, he's a massive.
And I think
Newcastle.
Graham's a Newcastle fan as well, so it's a Newcastle derby.
Newcastle derby, and but yeah, I mean the Leicester Tigers and the Whitworth Rockstars. I mean, the last thing you want to do. There's been some divisions that we've looked at, and I've said, "Oh, look, 5-2's got half a foot in the playoffs." The 5-2s here don't have any foots in the playoffs, and see playing each other. The loser of that game's going to get dragged into the battle a little bit, and the winner of that game, you know, they've then got 1 foot in the playoffs. But that's massive, massive in that sense. You know, the 4-3s and the 3s and 4s. If you lose, you're still in it. You're not. You know, you're not. Whereas Whitworth Rockstars and Leicester Tigers will be looking at this week and thinking, "Yep, win this one and I'm in." You know.
Yeah, you got a good chance. Yeah.
That is the big game there. The 3-4s could lose this week and still look at this division next week and say, "Oh, I'm still on me a shout." You know, so that's the difference between properly the 3-4s are you know, that there's the 5-2s are away and gone already. It makes you know, the 5-2s are in the battle in this division, and it makes every game important, you know, I guess, but it makes it's, you know, for example, Leeds Lassos, if they go and beat the Manchester Bees, they're right back in it, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, you could easily have like lots of 4-4s or 3. Yeah, it's going to be a
3-5s. There could, you know, 4-4s, 3s and 5s, 5-3s. There could be. I mean, there could be. Oh, there will be 1-6-2, and that's the thing. There will be 1-6-2 next week, and that 6-2 is going to be sitting feeling very,
pretty.
very confident. So yeah,
Definitely.
massive games this week, and it's the top division as well. Every game's so important because you don't want to lose any ground, because you're wanting to get into that final, and obviously the big bucks are there to be won if you can go on and win it. So yeah, week 7 in the bag, Johnny. Halfway through the season, I'll say it again. I can't believe it.
Yeah. And obviously you wanted to go through the scores for the Rousey Cup. So we're into the last 32. And obviously these games, there was no score correction today, but that never doesn't mean it's not going to happen tomorrow. But it's over 2 weeks, so this is just the first one. So you've got the Dignity team at 113 points, 240 points for the South London Rebels. So you can imagine the South London Rebels will probably go through. The
Yeah,
Nottingham
I think
Rebels,
that's pretty much in the bag.
236.79 to 183.69 Dobos Darla Diamonds. The Nottingham Rebels have got a pretty good lead, but I have seen 50-point leads go before, so especially when you've got 6 teams in a bye. Then you've got the Turbo Titans, 202 points against 192 points for the Portland Lumberjacks. The closest one, I think, possibly, the Plymouth Argyle Browns, 191.43 against the Melbourne Supremacy, 192.11. They got the Backfoot Pampers 165 against Aberdeen Bucks 146.39. I think to make this one even more fun, they're actually playing each other in the league this week.
Yeah, that's so they are. Yeah, they are. They
Yeah.
definitely are. How did Bankfoot Panthers get through?
Lucky. Like I was a high scoring team in my division by a long way, and I got knocked out by Dobos Darla Diamonds. So I got scored 200 points more than them or something like that. But yeah, it's just the way the bye weeks go and who you play, and that's the fun thing about it.
Absolutely, it's easy done, and certainly when you're at this stage of it, you're into the last 32 now. To be honest, I don't even look and see my cup score when it's when it's the group stages. But once you get the last 32, it's there to be won at that point. It's head to head. Then I'm looking at my opponent. I'm going and finding out who he's played, what his team is and stuff. So yeah, it gets interesting now.
Definitely. So obviously got the Newcastle Colts 254 against the Manchester Spinners 181. Ancoats Citizens 193 against the Chicago Scorpions 212. So not much in that one too. Well, there's another close one. The Dobos Darlow Destroyers 216 points, 0.23 against 215.5 for the Darlington Dragons. The Whitford Rockstars 245 points over the Dublin Blues 156. I think that one's probably a good safe one there. The Arcadia Red Wolves 219 points against the Peterhead Bloody Jets 192. So that's pretty close. Gloucester Wolfpack 207 points against the Kilmarnock Kings 212. So Derek, you're in the lead there so far. The Kirkwall Chargers 231 points against the Birmingham Bears 206, a high scoring game. Bodom Bears 185.43 against the Portsmouth. Is that right, Portsmouth? Pirates, I think that should be, not Panthers. I got it wrong. But like I say, Bodom Bears have been high scoring teams, so that they could catch that up pretty easy. The Bodyrig Cheese at 165.67 against the Orton Warriors 161.54. The Bangham Sharks, who did get to the final last year on British Year, 231.57 against the Royal Raiders 225.90. So there's not much in that. The Southampton Dockers 183.83 against the Edinburgh Thunderbirds, not Thunderbirds, 189.64. So there's some close games. There's maybe 2 that are probably beyond
gone. But yeah, they're all very close, apart from obviously the 2 that are gone. But they're all, and it's week 1, and anything can happen this week. As you say, 6 teams on a bye. It's anything, everyone's got a chance apart from maybe those 2. But how the hell are Peterhead Bloody Jets in it? They're 1-6.
I know, but like Alan won his first 2 games in it as well in the playoffs, but he lost the 3rd and 4th one. But he was 2-0 when he was 0-2, and it's just the way it falls. Who you're playing, you could be playing a different division. Yeah,
depending who you're playing any given week, that's it. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see who gets through there and who progresses further. I see Aaron's in it as well, so I hope he keeps up his wee winning record going and gets into the next round.
Definitely. Yeah, it's a close one, that one too, actually. So yeah,
very close.
Because obviously he's playing against Sean Fleming. So
Also, he is, of course. Yeah.
what wasn't Bangham Sharks? Was it not Peter Bloody Ship? Peter
No, it
Bloody.
was Bingham
One of-
Sharks. Yes, he is. So that's an Edinburgh derby.
I
Because
think it was maybe the
now.
Peterhead Bloody Jets that got to the final. I think it was Bang. I don't know. It was a
No,
Bang. It was one of the
no, it wasn't. It was Michael. It was the Bluetoon Texans.
Bluetoon Texans, yeah, who were in the Dwarfy Stain at that time, and they got to the final. They were a bit lucky. Yeah, they did well getting that far. But yeah, so any division can get to the final. That's where it goes. That's
And
a good thing about this.
any place in any division can get to the final, because once you get into the knockouts, you're just you against one other guy. You could score 120 points, and he scores 112, and you win.
Yeah, and like we've seen last week when there was high scoring games, there was 112 points, 113 points, and 120 points.
You just need to beat the guy across the other side of the table from you.
Yeah. I go into the game thinking I'm going to lose, and if I get a win, it's a bonus.
If you're worse than Doug, don't even start with me.
No, because like
Doug waves the white flag at 6:05 on a Sunday.
I don't wave the white flag that early. No,
I mean he's
like that game last week could have went either way until quite late on, and I just pulled away. But then I was confident going in on Monday night because I had a big lead, but did I have 2 or 3 players, and he had Gibbs and a couple of other 2, but I was still well enough in advance that I covered the Gibbs scoring 5 million points.
Yeah, exactly. Which happens a lot. But yes. Week 8 is upon us, Johnny. Starting what couple hours now, the game will be kicking off. Everyone, don't forget the clocks go back on Sunday. So you have 1 hour less to do, get your team sorted. Make sure you do them.
In the UK, it's only the UK though, because in Europe and in America,
of course, yeah, UK. In the UK, I mean, sorry, yes, in the UK, I'm forgetting that we're worldwide.
5 p.m. kickoff, not 6 p.m.
5 p.m.
I think the Americans and the Europeans change next week. Yeah, it goes back to normal. So good luck everybody this week, apart from who I'm playing.
Yes, apart
and
from
who's playing Craig, because I want Craig to win. Because obviously it shuts the rest of them up. So good luck everyone, and we'll see you next week.
Good night all. Danny, on John.